Hey everyone, welcome into Dom Time with Dom Giordano, our weekly roundup show where we bring in various pundits from around the Delaware Valley, near and far, and talk with them about some of the things we may not have done a show on, some things that are just fun, some things that are in the news. Joining us tonight is a guy who is the new media personified, given his own news bureau and given his website, friendlyfirezonemedia.com. Chris Friend is an independent columnist. Mainly, you read them locally, I'd say, in the Delco Times, but also nationally at newsmax.com. Chris, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Tom. Glad to be here.
Well, independent columnist, et cetera. What's the big news story right now that you're looking at, either nationally or locally? What's the number one thing, I asked each guest each week, that jumps out at you?
I think just when you look at this week, when you look at the Pennsylvania budget that has been passed. So they passed the budget and they got that done on time, but there are three big initiatives that the governor really wanted. He wanted liquor privatization, he wanted pension reform, and transportation. Went 0 for 3 on all of them, Dom. Now the question is, will they get that in the fall? If they don't, it's going to be a really, really rough ride for Tom Corbett when he goes into re-election in 2014.
All right, now this Liquor Control Board, my take on it is, what the heck is wrong with these people? The idea that 90 years of this, that we can't get something done, privatize it and move on. They're overcomplicating it. It shows you why government should have never been involved in this to start with. It amazes me.
Well, first of all, I am the biggest privatization proponent out there, but I'm against every proposal in Harrisburg because they're not going to work, Dom. In Pennsylvania, every bottle of wine and booze that we buy has an 18% tax on it. And that's to rebuild Johnstown from the flood of 1936. So we are not competitive with the other states. None of the proposals, not the House, not the Senate, and not the governor's, takes that tax out. In many respects, I think you're going to see increased prices even if they privatize it, because these companies have to make money. It takes a lot of logistics, from the warehousing to the trucks to the employees. That 18%, if they don't either eliminate that or reduce that, and there's no plan to do so, prices are not going to go down, and I think you'll actually see in some respects, less consumer choice.
Yeah, why when less consumer choice? How would there be less consumer choice?
They're going to have to, buy the liquor that is going to be the most profitable for them, and especially in the rural parts of the state where you're not going to have anywhere near the selection. And again, I'm all for privatization, but you've got to be able to free up private enterprise, and with that 18% tax that's hanging over them, Tom, it's going to be very difficult. And Pennsylvanians will still flee to Delaware and to Jersey. And again, no offense, but anytime Jersey does something better, you have an issue there.
Yeah.
We lose so much revenue in the state because people are going across the border. And it doesn't help matters when you have stings of the state police over Memorial Day weekend, sitting in the parking lots in Delaware and nailing Pennsylvanians that try and just have a case of beer or...
Yes, I think that was part of Corbett's plan, though, possibly, to make the point that this is what it's come to.
Well, maybe we should be looking at that the other way and take away the incentive to go to the other states. These liquor privatization plans, Dom, don't do that, and people will still go. Sure, it'll be nice when you go to the supermarket and you can grab a six-pack or a bottle of wine. There's no doubt about that. But the prices are going to be at least as high, if not higher, and I think there's going to be a lot of shell shock when people realize that.
Well, then there's going to have to be a different reform. Okay, what else? The gas tax was stopped. Thank God for this.
This is unbelievable.
And it is unbelievable to me that these Senate Republicans in Pennsylvania, are not Republican small government in any sense. This would have been 79 cents, as I understand it, over 3 years before you put any fuel in. That's what we would have paid in Pennsylvania.
Well, right. The transportation bill, because Pennsylvania has the worst bridges in the nation, the most efficient. So they do have to fix them. Under the Senate plan, now this passed. They already ran the bill, and they're on record on this. It would be anywhere from like a 28 to a 37 cent per gallon tax on gas. The governor's plan would have made it 75 cents per gallon, highest gas tax in the nation. The House of Representatives thankfully said, no, this is a no-go, we're not doing that. And because they wouldn't do that, the Senate said, well, we're not going to run liquor privatization. Everything stalled until at least the fall. That's not the way to get Pennsylvania operating again, Dom, not by killing any type of business out there. That's going to kill, from landscapers to trucking companies. Everything goes up because of gas taxes.
Well, just the average person at the pump, telling them people viewing right now they'll pay 79 cents outside the cost of gas, which has always gone up. It's shocking.
Once you hit $4 psychologically, that's when people start siphoning, the neighbor's gas tank. I mean, they will do whatever they have to do to fill up their tank. Contractors, when they're trying to fill up their trucks in the morning, that's a $250 bill. That's not the economic engine we need to get Pennsylvania going again. We need to increase the revenue, and that seems to be missing in Harrisburg right now.
Without a doubt. So, God, we missed that. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia now. I've heard today it was $1.4 billion. I was told that's what we'll be giving, the state will be giving, if this goes through, Philadelphia to spend on schools. What's Chris Friend say about that?
Wow, that's great. Nothing like, pouring more money into that black hole we call Philadelphia schools. Throwing more money at this is not the answer, Dom. Never has been, and it never will be. They're about to lay off 3,800 people. That's not a travesty. That's a good start. And I don't mean that as callous as it sounds, but it always seems like the students and their educational achievement, that kind of comes last in these
Well,
debates.
let me challenge that, because as much as I think, I wouldn't give them the money either. I don't know what else they're going to do. It is amazing if you don't have music, art, sports in the schools.
But are we cutting the wrong things? And you're right about that. I don't think we need to be cutting that. But they're so heavily bureaucratically laden. There's no accountability. There's no transparency. There never has been. And now for the Republicans to turn around, again, Governor Corbett, to try and throw this money at them to try and appease some constituency, I'm not sure who that satisfies. That's not helping the children. We had an opportunity to try and get school choice, to inject competition, to make our schools run like our businesses, which is always the best way to go. That didn't happen. I don't see it happening in the fall session either. But a lot of things, ultimately, we may have to move to have all of Philadelphia become charter schools, really, because that at least has some record of achievement there. And it's really a shame for the students and their families that have to try to be educated in that environment.
All right, we'll move off the state stuff. Coming up more with Chris Friend, our weekly roundup. Paula Deen in the news. It is amazing how that continues. How many places are going to disown this woman? Jennifer Lopez sings Happy Birthday, Mr. Dictator for $1 million, and that's okay. That's straight ahead on Dom Time.